Hello and welcome. I am Dr. Lara May, a clinical pharmacist specializing in functional medicine, as well as a certified yoga teacher and Reiki master. I run a truly integrative health coaching practice encompassing functional medicine lab testing, yoga and meditation, and a sprinkling of Reiki energy medicine. Join me here on Light Body Radio to break through your health plateau and come into alignment with your natural vitality. Hello and welcome to Light Body Radio. I'm your host, Dr. Lara May, and today I have with me Kat Parks. She is an experienced face yoga instructor and yoga teacher who has worked with thousands of students since 2013 at her own studio and at top-rated wellness resorts all across the country. With a passion for sharing the joys of face yoga in a fun and easy way to develop greater awareness and confidence, she loves to share the possibility of connecting to our natural beauty as we age, without the risk of invasive treatments. Kat hosts workshops, teaches private classes, and leads an immersive group program that empowers others to become more intimately acquainted with their faces. Welcome, Kat.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
So I'm not sure where I want to start. I have two questions. First of all is, how did you get involved in face yoga? And number two, what is face yoga? So maybe we should start with what is face yoga, and then you can tell us how you came to be a teacher and instructor.
Amazing. I think that's a great place to start. So face yoga is this holistic modality that has been around for 23 years. It has over 100 different poses, exercises, and release techniques that can allow us to reduce and eliminate fine lines and wrinkles, create symmetry in our face. Overall, my favorite part of it is really helping us to develop greater confidence and awareness in what we look like and how we feel. As far as how I got... Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, no, keep going. Yeah. Tell us about how you came to be in this place.
All right. Beautiful. So I actually came to Arizona. This is where I live now. I was visiting with my husband. And if you don't know about Arizona and Scottsdale, Arizona, there's a med spa on almost every single corner. And it feels like almost everybody is getting injections. I was in a place where I was feeling bad about myself and this line between my eyebrows, and I almost booked an appointment for Botox. And in that same week, I had an ad for face yoga float into my sphere on Facebook. And I decided, you know what, let me give that a shot. Let's see if that will provide me with these results that I want, in a way that is holistic and safe, and within my control. So I started practicing some face yoga. That line between my eyebrows is almost gone. And when the teacher training came up, I knew that this was something that I absolutely wanted to do. As I've been teaching yoga since 2013, I knew that this was something that I wanted to be able to share, that there's so much more that we can do with our faces and for our faces. There's so much more that we can feel good about ourselves beyond just the way that we look.
Mm-hmm. For sure. And that's one of the things that I love about yoga, is to bring awareness to areas that we most likely are not paying attention to otherwise. So it's really interesting that we can. So how long does this take? Like, let's say you're doing a session. Is it literally just focused on the face?
So when I do a face yoga session, say if we're doing a private, I do incorporate some other things beyond just face yoga. Like I said, because I've been teaching yoga since 2013, I always like to add little body things in there, breath things in there. And then just, our attitude, our mental energy really affects us so much more deeply than I think a lot of people think. So my sessions are more than just exercising our face. It's really learning about ourselves. How can we become more intimately acquainted with our faces? As far as how long our practice takes, I think it can be 5, 10, 15 minutes. Doesn't have to be daunting. I try to not let my students freak out about it or feel like they have to do 4 hours of face yoga every day, because that's crazy.
So I would imagine that this process also involves
a level of self-acceptance and self-love, because I feel like we're conditioned from a very early age to start judging ourselves, and when we look in the mirror having certain expectations, and then bombarded by all the media things and the food and cosmetic industry things, like you said, injectables and all that stuff. And I mean, like, if there's nothing wrong if injectables are in your path, no judgment. But if there's a way to avoid them, then why not?
Absolutely. Yes. And I think that self-acceptance, awareness, confidence, all of that really is why I'm doing this. Because of course, yeah, we want to look pretty, we want to look younger, but for me, honestly, the idea of being able to look in the mirror and not pick ourselves apart, or to say, okay, yeah, I look different at 36 than I looked at 26, and being okay with that, because
Mhm.
there's only one direction here in life, and we're only getting older. And the more that we can accept ourselves, and again, not be in that position of feeling like we're not good enough, or with, yes, all of our bombardment from the media, whether it's actors or filters on social media, or anyone telling us that this is the only way to be.
Right. So, and I think also too, one of these things that maybe we're aware of a little, but not as as deeply aware as we could be, is how we wear what we're thinking in our head on our face.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Our face habits are changing what we look like. We might have had a parent tell us when we were a little kid, oh, don't make that face, it'll stick that way. It will stick that way. And if we're constantly, say, squeezing our eyebrows, I know people who are doing this while they're working, while they're washing dishes, if we're constantly doing these things with our faces, they're gonna show up on our face. And sometimes
Yeah.
our face might even betray our inner personality. You might just be the friendliest person out there, but people are asking if you're having a bad day.
Right, right. I mean, whether it's worry, fear, anxiety, anger, frustration, all of that shows up on our face. And especially if we're living in a place where we're like sort of like mad at the world. That's I remember hearing that, like growing up, like sometimes like we think like you're mad at the world because of your face. Like I heard that, or like we have RBF, resting bitch face.
Yes.
So I don't know if men have these sayings, but
I've seen some pretty unhappy looking dudes. And that's the
yeah.
thing, we have so many of these expectations about our faces. And I think that while there is a lot that's standard amongst humans, there are a lot of things that are really generalized at women. And it's, yeah, that concept of even that we have a word for resting bitch face, but we
Yeah.
don't have, something like that for men. Or the idea of, that saying, oh, just smile or you'll look a lot prettier. No one's going to
Oh
say
yeah.
that to a guy. I've wanted to. But
Right. Oh, yeah.
there are
Especially
these
growing up
things
in the
that,
South, I got that all the time. You should smile.
oh,
You'd be so, like, you know what? I don't want to smile. I shouldn't have to smile all the time, damn it.
yes, absolutely. And we shouldn't have to be something that we're not. And we shouldn't feel like we have to, keep up with this, that, or the other thing. I had a conversation with a friend the other day about how much we used to use filters on our pictures. And not
Mhm.
even something so crazy like, changing the shape of our eyes, but even just like the kind of filter that smooths out your skin. And I look back on pictures of myself and I'm like, I never looked like that. I've never looked like that because I've always had freckles or uneven skin tone or that little red spot. And but we have put ourselves in this position where you can't share this picture if you've got a zit or if your skin's not perfect or if XYZ. So I think it's kind of fun to push those boundaries also. How can I share this picture of myself where I look really weird? How can I, go out without makeup, even if it makes me feel a little bit uncomfortable?
Yeah. I would like to say that I'm happy that I've come to a place in my life where actually pretty comfortable going most days without makeup, which I never used to be. And so I take that as sort of like a badge of honor in my middle age.
Yes, that's awesome. Proud of you. Happy for you.
But again, that, you know, it took time and self-work too, and just again, like coming to the self-acceptance and the self-love. And it's so exhausting to constantly be trying to change ourselves for someone else's acceptance or someone else's judgment. So a long time ago, I just said, F that, I'm over it.
I love that so
Too much
much.
energy.
Yes. There's a lot of freedom in being able to accept ourselves for who we are. And that's honestly a big part of my face yoga as well. I've been talking to some clients lately about this idea of, you know, what is it that we can actually change? Now, okay, yeah, if I squeeze my eyebrows together when I'm focusing at work or when I'm crying my eyes out, I might get a line between my eyebrows. That's something that I can affect with face yoga. But say, for instance, my mom is part Lebanese. And so she's got dark under her eyes. I've got dark under my eyes. It's always been like that, even since I was a little kid. That's not something that I can do something about because that's how I'm made. So tuning into these ideas that like, yeah, this is how I'm made. This is what my skin tone is. This is what my nose shape is. I've got one eye that's bigger than the other. Letting those things be okay because that's what makes you unique. And I think that the more that we try to like all turn into this homogenous being, you know, like what seems to be happening a lot in our culture and society is like making people into this like perfect quote unquote version of themselves, totally symmetrical and not moving and looking 25 when they're 55. And it's just not reality. And I think that the more that we can be in touch with reality, who we really are, how we are made and shaped and born, the better.
Absolutely. And so, and especially, you know, if any of us out there are mothers, I myself am not, but a lot of my friends and family are, of course. And so, like, what are we showing and teaching our young women and our little girls too? And I think, you know, like we have the opportunity to hopefully help relieve some of that stress and expectation for them and teach them that, you know, it's okay to just be who you are. We're not going to look perfect every day, and that's normal and that's okay. And yeah, like you said, like, you know, I don't have any Lebanese in my background, but I do have a lot of fair skin and I'm a redhead. And so anytime that I used to like have a sinus infection growing up, which was a lot again for me back then, like my eyes would always have like these big dark blue, for some reason it would just be like blue circles under the eyes. And just be like,
Oh
well,
my
this
gosh.
is today. But you know, like forever I would just
Yes.
like pack foundation or, you know, like whatever it was, or concealer to cover it up. And so anyway, but so I just, how can we release, so like releasing tension from the face, I'm sure is part of it, but like you said, like you've been working on this line, you know, between the eyebrows, and I definitely have one of those. So how do we quote unquote work on that?
Amazing. Love that question. So I want to address this idea that we basically have these different kinds of stress places in our body. I'm sure that anyone who's listening right now, you or me, we could kind of take our fingers and give ourselves a little shoulder rub, and you'd probably find, holy moly, I've got a knot back there that I didn't even know that I had. Our shoulders hold this stress, just like for a lot of us, our jaws hold us a lot of stress, or our eyebrows hold a lot of stress. So tuning into these places, you know, where do we hold our stress? A lot of people are dealing with TMJ disorder, or, you know, are just really big eyebrow users. I think that both of those are places that are super, super common for us to feel that deep tension in our face. My very first piece of advice is to just find more awareness throughout the day, because here's the thing, y'all, your face is moving all the time when you're sleeping, meditating, at work, on the phone with your best pal. So the more that we can be aware of the fact that, okay, I'm here chatting with Dr. Lara and I notice my eyebrows starting to squeeze together, I can find that awareness and release my muscles from doing that. Now, does that take a sort of next level awareness? Yes. Is this something that we need to work on? Yeah. Does practice make practicing easier? Of course. The second thing that I would say is just tuning into this idea of what is in your life that's bringing that on. Of course, addressing our life stress is kind of a silly piece of advice. We all need to address our life stress. But this idea of the stress of our life manifesting as tension on our face, this is a feedback loop that actually goes both ways. So say we're stressed out in life, it's going to show up on our face. Now, if we learn how to release that tension from our face, we actually are going to help to release that stress and tension from our life. So I actually do have a free tension release guide, a free resource for any folks who want it. I'll make sure that gets into the show notes for today. But you can also, we'll get into all that later. But I've got all kinds of different face yoga techniques that can allow us to release that tension, whether it's, a really gentle squeezing of the eyebrows, maybe moving the scalp skin around. But a lot of us are really doing these things that are contributing to tension without maybe even realizing it, whether it's that we're staring at our computer and we need glasses, so we're squinting all day, or again, maybe we're squeezing our eyebrows together because we're working, or maybe we're clenching our jaw all day because we're not being aware of it. All of these are things that we can start to find that awareness of and start to make some tiny little adjustments.
Beautiful. So I guess my next question is, what can people maybe do now? Or maybe we can walk our guests or our listeners, through maybe just like a quick little awareness exercise, just so they even start to, like, at that first level, start to feel the awareness of where they are now. What do you think about that?
Ooh, I love that so much. I'm super into it. Amazing.
Okay.
So as long
All
as
right.
you're not driving, if you're driving, don't do this part. If you're not driving, go ahead and close your eyes. We'll find a big deep breath in and sigh out the mouth. And let's just start to find some awareness of the face. Might be the first time that we've ever done this in our lives. We'll start up at the top, the eyebrows, the forehead. Maybe the eyebrows are jumping up and down. Maybe they're energetically drawing inward or downward. Maybe the eyeballs are zooming around behind the lids. Or even though the lids are closed, maybe they're trying to squeeze even tighter together. Maybe the cheeks or under eye are twitching or jumping. Lips might be pressing, twisting, maybe open. Maybe the tongue is moving around inside the mouth. Jaw may be clenched. Maybe the head is shifted forward. Or the breath may be shallow. Just take another moment to find some awareness from top to bottom of the face. Maybe it's tension, maybe it's movement, maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's awareness of being calm. We'll find one more big deep breath in and sigh out the mouth. We'll gently blink open those eyes. And let's just start to roll the shoulders up and back a few times. When we're affecting our shoulders, our head, our neck, all of this is starting to bring blood to our neck, chest, and face. Our face is really not getting a whole lot of blood flow throughout our day. And most of the time, the things that we're doing in our daily life are not really bringing that blood flow to our face, not really being intentional with the way that we're moving our muscles. One way that we can really bring some tension release into our life right now, especially I'm sure that we've got a lot of ladies listening, and typically our ladies, we've got our hair up. So if you've got your hair up, I encourage you to take your hair down. Our whole scalp is covered in muscles. They might not be the kind of muscles that we can move, but they're connected to the muscles of your face. So when we yank our hair back, especially really tight, it's going to add more tension to the face. So I'd encourage us to take our hair down as often as you can, switch your style to a loose bun or a claw clip, or we can bring in some face yoga into this. This pose is called the scalp massage. We're just going to bring our hands right on top of the head and give some pressure down on the scalp. From there, you'll just draw that scalp skin forward and back. So you're essentially moving the skin of your scalp back and forth along the skull bone. You may or may not have movement here depending on how loose is your fascia on your face and your skull. Now we'll keep the hands where they are, take them a little side to side. Maybe our ears or eyebrows are moving. Then we'll bring hands to the sides of the head and again, take another little up and down or side to side. We can also, especially if we've got ponytail wearers listening, you can get to where you wear your ponytail. If anyone gets tension headaches, you can give yourself a little rub out where you get your headaches. Or if we've got glasses wearers, you can get to where your glasses sit right above your ears. Just kind of want to keep a simple 1-2 side to side or up and down motion. Other than that, y'all, there's no amount that you can overdo giving yourself a scalp massage. So especially if that feels revelatory or amazing, keep on keeping on. Bring this into your daily life. This is one of those ones that, again, super, super easy. And a lot of us are not realizing that by scrunching our hair up all day long for hours on end is affecting our face. Another one of my amazing favorite little additions that we can throw in here real quick is the eyebrow squeeze. This is bringing together our thumb and forefinger and then just gently, gently squeezing the spot right in between your eyebrows. So where you would have a unibrow, or if you have a unibrow, you can squeeze your unibrow. We just want to make it really, really gentle so that we're not squeezing too hard. And then we'll slowly start to scooch the fingers apart and squeeze along the whole length of the eyebrow. Now, if you're a big eyebrow lifter, the center of each eyebrow might feel more intense. If you're a big eyebrow squeezer, the middle or inner edge of each eyebrow might feel more intense. Again, this is one of those ones that we can sort of bring into our daily practice. You can do this anytime that you feel your eyebrows starting to stress out or squeeze together. But we do always, always want to be super, super gentle. The name of my business is Be Easy. And I want you to remember that when you do your face yoga. How can you be more easy with your breath, your fingers, your face? Because the more aggressive that we are on our faces, the harder we squeeze or move our fingers on our face. We're, again, just adding that kind of energy back into our face. That energy is not nice stuff. And we want to keep it nice and easy, keep it nice and gentle, keep it loving and soft, because this is the kind of energy that we want to bring to our beautiful faces as we start to accept ourselves a little bit more for who we are.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much. There was so much of that felt amazing. And again, I think just bringing in that awareness and noticing where we're holding the tension, and definitely for so many of us staring at a computer for 8 to 12 hours a day. I've definitely noticed too, like depending on the lighting. So I've actually incorporated it's a therapy light. It's a non-UV therapy light, but just even adding that to my workstation at work has helped me not squint as much.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so it's great for our face and also our eyesight, because as we get older, like it's just part of aging. And I've even had LASIK, and even LASIK doesn't last forever, people. So
nothing lasts forever, but hey, when we can learn how to get these tools in our own hands and with our own face muscles, then we've got access to it at any time. And the thing that I like to remind my students is that, yeah, nothing lasts forever. You're not going to look 20 forever, and no one will. Not even all the actresses getting all the knives and needles are going to look 20. They're going to look 50 looking like they're trying to look 20. And that's fine for them. And that's fine for you if that's what you want to do. But we need to realize the fact that we're changing, we're growing, and that's a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. And again, like just pulling in all the tools to help ourselves. So if we're coming at this from a level of vanity, then so be it. Again, let's just even start releasing that self-judgment. But really, I feel like this is also part of an aging healthily and gracefully that doesn't have to be attached to vanity, because like I was talking about, like with my workstation, like there are things that we do in this modern world that can break down the natural functions of our body faster, unfortunately. Computers are one of those things, staring at them. Again, even if it's at your phone, like you said, like, is your head pitched forward, your posture at your workstation or throughout your day, depending on what the nature of your work. So all of these things are going to affect how we age and what we look like and how we feel as we age. And so not even coming at it from a place of vanity, but just to feel better and to feel good and to retain some of that function as long as possible. I think that really but really for me personally is the ultimate goal. And I would never want to like put any of my shoulds onto any of my listeners.
Absolutely. And it's what matters to us. And the thing is that I've taught over 2,000 students up at the resort at which I teach. And I've had so many people share with me, oh my gosh, this space yoga is changing my life, because I thought that I was going to have to go the injections route. All my friends are getting injections and I'm the only one who's not doing it. And I don't want to do it, but now I'm really happy that I found this thing. And that's the thing, is that we all have to decide what is worth it for us to do and what it is that our goals are. And if you want to get injections, fine, but we should know the risks of those things. Just like we know the risks of, say, if you go to the gym, you could drop a weight on your foot. You know that that's a risk going to the gym. If you're going to get injections, and I will say you should know the risks involved with those things, because this is something that's going into your body, very close to your brain. There's been a lot of science and research on it, but unfortunately, it's just not really talked about that much, because it's touted as the only thing that we can do. And I'm here to say it's not the only thing that we can do. It's not helping us in the long term. And like you'd said a few minutes ago, what are we messaging to, say, our children or, the other people in our sphere? I hope to be one of those female role models that's aging. I'll use a word that my client used yesterday, normally. And like, what is aging normally? I don't know if we even know anymore, or who would be that role model for, like, what does 40 look like? What does 50 look like? Because it feels like almost everyone in, say, a celebrity sphere is not doing that anymore. So for me, it feels really important to be that role model, that opportunity that I can say, hey, look, I not only look better, but I feel better, not just physically, but energetically now at 36 than I did at 30. I honestly think I look better now at 36 than I did at 20. And that, that's here, there, wherever you want it to be, but it's more about how I feel about myself. And that to me is, again, the most important part.
Yes, absolutely. Again, this all comes back to, all the moving parts and pieces of our life and our lifestyle. So what are we eating? How are we sleeping? How are we moving? What is the stress in our life? How we handle it? All of these things factor into not only how we feel, how healthy are we, and how we age and grow as we get older. And so, yes, it's all connected. So tell us where people can find you and work with you.
Amazing. So I, like I said, my business is called Be Easy. Real easy to remember. Those are all words, not just the letters. You can find me online at beeasy.life. You can also find me on Instagram at beeasyfaceyoga. I have, like I said, a free tension release guide, free resource. I do have that on my Instagram. And if Dr. Lara would put that in the show notes, awesome. If not, again, you can find that on my Instagram, my tension release guide. And then I also have coming up this epic 12-week course. It is debuting in November, but I do have another session of it coming up next March. And this is basically a 12-week course that's going to share with you everything you need to know to take control of your face, your aging, your aesthetic, that we're going way, way deeper than face yoga, tuning into our awareness, our confidence, habits, all of these ways that we can really tune into how can we continue to grow, feel good about ourselves, and not have to resort to things that might hurt us in the end.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your time. I'll definitely put this in the show notes. The show notes live at drlaramay.com/podcast. So if you're looking for anything, any of the links or any of the social handles, we always link those in the show notes over there. So thank you so much, Kat. I appreciate what you're doing and what you're putting out into the world. And anything else before we finish up that you want to bring forward?
Oh gosh, I'm just so happy to be here. Truly grateful to be on the pod, grateful to be in your ears, those who are listening. And my final thought is just, keep loving yourself, and know that there are always other options. And if you're interested in dipping your toes into face yoga, I hope to be your friend.
That's beautiful. We will leave it there and we will catch you guys on the flip side. Bye, everybody.
Bye.